The Amazon rainforest. The largest tropical rainforest in the world and the home to a massive variety of wildlife. The Amazon hosts 10% of all species on Earth, so obviously a lot of Pokémon are based on animals from the rainforest. So the question is, what would the Amazon rainforest actually look like in the world of Pokémon? I took a look and let me just tell you, it's really weird. And it will probably crumble and die within a week. But let's take a further look and let's start off in the great forests of the Amazon. High up in the trees of the rainforest, a large population of ape palms and slackhawks lives up here. And they do not just live, they thrive up here, or sort of. They are based on the New World monkeys and the sloth, which normally would have the harpy eagle to worry about. But in Pokemon, there is no harpy eagle, so it would be massively overpopulated here and might actually have a hard time having food for everyone, as they would also have to share fruits with the chatterts and the squawkabillies based on the parrots of the Amazon, as well as the toucans, which I don't have to explain. We might also have some mandibusses flying around. They are based on the king vulture and the turkey vulture, who both live in the Amazon. Besides the overpopulation, the treetops and the sky actually functions decently compared to some of the other parts of the rainforest. Going down from the treetops and down to the ground is where we see the majority of our bug Pokemon. Some notable ones are the likes of the Mantis line, based on the praying mantis. It's all well and cute until it evolves into Lurantis, which is nearly 1 meter tall, so now you just have a large 1 meter tall praying mantis, which is terrifying. Lurantis would probably eat Pokemon like Caterpies, Weedles, and maybe even other Fomantis as well. But it's not quite over yet, as there is even a bigger praying mantis in the Amazon, and that goes to Cypher, which is nearly 1.5 meters tall, so they will probably eat the likes of Lurantis, or maybe other bigger bugs like Volbeat and Illumise, which are based on fireflies, who light up the sky during the night. In the tree trunks, you might be able to encounter combees, which are based on cute little bees. But they are in the Amazon, so they are actually based on a killer bee. Of course they are. Now, the reason they are called killer bees or killer combees is because back in the 50s, scientists brought over combees from Africa for breeding. But these types of combees are highly defensive, so they will actually chase people for hundreds and hundreds of meters before maybe letting you off, so don't mess with the killer combi. We also have Skorupies based on scorpions, Cutieflies based on bee flies, Burmy based on bagworms, Scolipede and Centiskorch based on the giant centipede, as well as Galvantula, Ariados, and Tarantula based on the tarantulas, the wandering spider, and the orbweb spider. But we are not quite done yet with the insect, as we have one more living here. We have Buzzwole, based on mosquitoes. Now, mosquitoes gets around 3 to 10 millimeters in length, but Buzzwole is a 2.5 meter tall man on steroids. And now it is believed that there's around 3 trillion or more mosquitoes in the Amazon alone. So in the Pokemon world, the Amazon would probably look more like this. But let's just ignore that for today. Now, it isn't just animal-like Pokemon living in the forest. There are also some notable plant-based Pokemon. We have the Paras line, based off cordyceps, or the zombie fungi, which is a fungi that grows out of dead insects. So maybe Paras grows out of dead insect Pokemon, which is a dark plot twist, and I don't really know how that will work, to be honest. We also have Petilil, based on the bulbous, as well as Rumish, based on the puffball fungi, which thrive on the floors of the rainforest. In some rare cases in the waters, you are also able to find Corsulas, based on the corals. Now, these are all native living Pokemon or plants, but some farmers actually learned that a couple of other Pokemon from other parts of the world could actually live a great life in the rainforest, which were Tropius, based on the banana plant brought over from Asia and northern Australia, Eldergloss, based on the cotton plant, which kind of grows in a lot of different places, and then Bounsweet, based on the mangosteen, which is also from Asia and is actually one of Squawkabilly's favorite foods. Now let's take a look at some of the mammals of the rainforest, as this is where it kinda goes all downhill. Here we have Heatmore, as it is based on the giant anteater. They live by eating dorans based on the trapjaw ant with their large mandibles. We also have Drowsies and Monas, as they are based on the tapir. Now this is where we run into a major problem. In the real world, the number of anteaters and tapirs are being leveled by the jaguars and the pumas of the rainforest. But there is no jaguar or puma in Pokemon. We only have lions, leopards, and a buff tiger, with none of them living in the Amazon. So the Heatmore, Drowsies, and Monas would be largely overpopulated. After a long time with no natural predators to the Heatmores, the Dorans would probably go extinct, and then the Heatmores would die off. Tapir Pokemon would consume so much plantation that it would be catastrophic for the rainforest. They would eat the likes of tree saplings so that barely any new trees could grow. Eventually they just eat so much food that there's barely anything left, and then they would all pass away as well. But anyways, looking at other mammals, we then have Sandshrew and Sandslash based on the armadillo, Sandaconda based on the anaconda, although probably slightly different, as the anaconda loves being in the water and the Sandaconda is based on the dry sand life, so they would probably just chill on land instead. We also have the Krogunk line based on the poisonous dart frogs, Zubat line based on the vampire bats, the Snivy line based on the green vine snakes, and at last we have the llamas, and the only Pokemon heavily based on the llama is Arceus, God. We have gods roaming our grasslands here, but like, I don't even question it anymore. These would probably also be largely overpopulated with the absence of any big predators, but like, they're gods, they can do as they want. Moving from the vast and tropical lands of the rainforest, we are going into the water, where we have Cavanas based on the piranha and Wishcash based on the catfish. They would be eaten by the Buizel line based on the otters. It is not really specified what otter they are based off, but in this case I just assumed it was the giant river otter, as the Oshawott line is like no doubt the normal sea otter, so the only other otter I could think of that makes sense is the giant river otter. Okay, so update, they are based on both, so it counts, I guess. We also have the Tynamo line based on the electric eel, as well as Turtonator, which I think might be the only turtle Pokemon to live here, as they are specifically based on the Matamata or Matamata turtle. At last, we of course have Krokorok and Crocodile based on the Spectacle Cayman. I thought for a second they might save the Heatmore and Drowsy lines, but no, Caymans are unfortunately too small to like eat tapirs or anteaters. Now, that was the most noteworthy Pokemon and plants in the rainforest, and as we can see, the ecosystem is complete shit. So let's just try to fix it a little. Let's start with the trees. We need the Harpy Eagle to keep down the Apums and the Slackoffs, so I've come up with the Pokemon Harpymon, which is a giant eagle-like Pokemon. Easy fix. Let's tackle something a bit more challenging. We need a Jaguar-like Pokemon, or else, I mean, everything dies. So I've come up with Jaguquaza, a giant dragon cat that literally eats anything. Now you might think that's going a bit overkill with just eating Heatmores and Drowsies, but keep in mind, we have over 3 trillion Buzzwoles to keep down, and we have an overpopulation of Pokemon guards in our fields as well. So we do in fact need something extra big for this. I would also make Crocodile bigger and roam land, as it needs to be putting out fires, as Heatmore and Centiskorches would start a ton of wildfires in the area. And at last, I would probably just delete the rainforest from existence, as there's literally no saving this hell, unlike our own Amazon rainforest in real life that is amazing and needs saving more than ever, as with some unfortunate events, it may slowly become somewhat like this. I don't really know what this video was, to be honest. Probably just to tell you that the Pokemon world doesn't always make sense, and that our world makes a lot of sense, but it needs saving more than ever. But anyways, we still love them both. So that's about it. Bye.